And welcome back. Got everybody on today as well. Shout out to you guys for making it back. It has probably been a long week since you have seen us last, but want to make certain that we're tapping in with you guys that way. Am I coming in clear?
We hear you
Yep.
clear.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make certain we're tapping back in with you guys. I know that it's been a lot that has happened in the last week. Our group chat between that and what happens on social media, I think there is enough to talk about today. So thank you, ladies, for coming back. The Roots and Routes podcast. Welcome to all of the people that happen to be joining us from wherever it is that you may be tuning in from. How you guys doing since I last seen you?
Wonderful.
Hi guys. Sorry, we still up here trying to work with our software, guys. Everything's been good. We had a crazy day today that we can't say on live, but all, all is well. Thank you guys for all of your comments after our last show. We do read each and every single one of them. So we're excited to just shoot the SHIT with y'all today.
Yeah. And I'm coming, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, doing what I can off of this kind of dummy mission that was Bogota.
Because we could definitely
I
start
was part
right
of the
there.
crowd. I was part of the crowd who, the Kendrick Lamar concert got canceled on us. Um, so I tried to just make the best out of the trip. I did go to Negro Fest though, which was fun. Got to see some old friends who actually live there. And yeah, I made the best out of it, I guess. I'll be back,
Listen.
I guess.
So
Possibly.
if y'all don't know, Kendrick Lamar had a concert, was scheduled for a concert. Let me put it in the correct terms. He was scheduled for a concert in Bogota, Colombia. So a number of people, including Miss Michelee, ventured out to Bogota, put their non-normal Medellin clothes on. I saw everybody had hats and coats and hoodies, and I was like, okay, y'all gonna. Oh, I see you. My fault. And literally, y'all got out there and tell me about that because it got canceled, and I know people were probably really upset about that.
Oh, for sure. Listen, how it happened, it was so janky. Now, this is not on him because he was there. He was in town, you know what I mean? Like we saw him, he was in town the day before and everything. So they were like, he was ready to go. He was ready to perform, but it was something like I had a friend who was already inside the venue. Because you know how they have you like lined up at different gates. So I was in one, in the VIP line, and it was a bunch of us. It was like the line wasn't moving, so it was suspicious. Like me and a friend were waiting in line, and we're like, this line is not moving. It was like a line that led to another line. It was just like we're just here, and the show's about to start. They're opening acts or whatever, so they had the schedule already of like when they were going to perform. So the first act was supposed to come on at 7. We still in line at 7:30. Then it gets to 8, and we like, what's going on?
Damn.
And my friend who was inside was saying that people who were working there were telling her that it was audio issues. But whatever it was, there's been a statement or two that's come out from I guess the like Ticketmaster and whoever they partner with like locally there to throw the concert or whatever. They were saying it was some type of regulation permit stuff or something like that. Which is why they couldn't do it. But I'm like, they were not communicating with us, and we were in line for hours, and it was just like, what's going on? So I was never expecting that it wasn't going to happen. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we're here. So many people I traveled there. I had a lot of my friends who are, that I know from here, from Medellin, and they were out there too. So people travel by bus, by plane, hotels. They were like, they'll refund us the money for the ticket, but I'm like, people pay for travel for everything
Hours.
else. So
I seen you was
yeah,
out there
and
with
some
Akeem
people
though.
were lined up the night before. It was crazy. So I was, yeah, it was that was janky. I don't like how they did that, but apparently they had an issue. It was that venue apparently.
I ain't gonna joke on you on live, but we did some tweaking and joking in them chats, okay? Because I'm a Drake fan, and I
You ain't right. You ain't right. We gotta
The
put you
Hootie
on.
Who's the Hootie Who's had something
Remind
to
you.
do with it. I'm for
You gotta
Drake
certain.
blank
wins
that out.
again.
Right.
The
That
Tootsie
was
Roll
a
Oh,
game.
Girl.
you know what?
I
Go
even
ahead.
heard them say that
Tisha, I'm
they
gonna send you
I
another invite on
okay.
what you call it, but I send it to you.
Okay. I even heard them say that they didn't even know the concert was coming. I'm like, come on, y'all, 30 minutes before the show. That didn't even make sense. Did y'all get y'all money back yet, Shell?
I have not checked, but I don't think no. I don't know. I think I would have gotten an alert, an
Just
email or
vibes.
something. So
Sound like a
I'm
scam to
even thinking
me.
about that.
Sound like a
But they said
scam and
that
a
we'll get it.
scam.
They said that we'll
Drake
get
is
it back
not
the same
endorsing
way
you to
that we
pay to
paid.
say this.
Girl, I've been on the phone. Me and Drake been fucking scaggling about this thing. You hear me?
oh my
Not you
god.
and not you and Aubrey.
I'm
Yes,
mad
honey.
because
International scheming.
Yes,
This
that
is
was
so bold because I mean I'm thinking like first of all like somebody like Kendrick coming there. Anyway, I don't even care about everybody else. I'm talking about my love for him. Like I haven't seen him since the damn tour in Amsterdam, and I was already
and
considering
you
for
won't see
this
him
tour
again.
that I'll have to travel somewhere else. Remember, RJ, we were talking about doing it in Mexico City. And
Oh, don't do it no more, girl. I heard he did that in Mexico City too. You ain't see them comments?
that
It
so
sound like a scammity scam, honey.
they
no,
Yo,
I saw the concert there. People they had the concert there.
No, let me
yo,
stop. I
that's
like Kendrick
hilarious.
Lamar, but I'm just loyal to the soil. Y'all know that.
You are not from Canada. What soil are you
Right.
claiming?
We
Like, what
when we
is
when we
this?
locked in when we locked in with the first album, I was locked in. I was locked in.
oh
See, but see,
Lord.
I had love for both of them until it was beef. I gotta pick a side.
See.
Listen, you are
Mm-mm.
wildin'. Let me tell you.
You must be all
RJ,
right because you
I
be
don't know how to
using
do that
the
TikTok
right
thing. So,
words.
Yeah, I
look,
just.
but no, what was so
Oh
funny though,
snap!
for real? Because a lot of y'all was out there. A
Hold
lot
on.
of my friends
My
were out
bad.
there.
My bad, bro. I
Okay,
have to. Hold on. I got a thousand things. TikTok is outrageous.
who
Nah,
was
we're
that
good though.
person?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I went to push a button to try to get you, and I just seen the dude like, "Hello, how you doing?"
I think he was
See,
trying to come on and talk to me about
this
Kendrick.
this what happened when you over 35 and you got to get on all these platforms to try to reach the people. But that is freaking hilarious. You said you was on the phone with Drake talking about that. But tell me about Negro Fest though, because a lot of people watching don't even know what that is. Um, and tell them about what that is because I am familiar. I don't know if Tisha has been, but it is a hell of a time in Medellin. So I can only imagine what it looks like in Bogota.
No, it's cool. So, yeah, it originated here in Medellin. It's similar. If you would think, I believe the owner said that he was, or the founder, he was inspired by like Afropunk. So if you think of that type of festival, you know what I mean, where we have music, you have vendors, all people from um, vendors, local vendors, but like around Colombia, um, all Afro inspired, with black owned businesses and stuff, right? So, yeah, it's a celebration of music, of culture, of blackness, throughout the diaspora too. So similar to how Afro punk runs, that whole celebration thing. It's fashion. It's a fashion show. It's like, man, we were turning up though. I gotta listen to more music in Spanish. I have my playlist and I got some friends who like they share music with me or whatever. And when I go to some parties, like I'll hear stuff and I'll save it. But you get to see some of the people, who like sing these songs or whatever, like songs I have on my Spotify playlist. So it's real cool. Like the energy of the crowd. It's like we really the same. Like,
And
oh man, it
everywhere.
feel like a big kind of family reunion type of thing. It was nice.
Nah, I know in Medellin that thing is always one of the best times. It's like, yeah, because I'm like sometimes they're rapping so fast, I don't even know what the words are saying. But I'm like, yo, I know this beat, I know this rhythm, and it's like, yo, they sound like somebody at the crib. I know when we
Mhm.
had gone out a couple of times, and Alexis Play was is one of the bigger artists in Medellin, and I think people say that he's like the Colombian Kendrick Lamar, and
Yeah, that's what he remind me of.
see,
Yeah,
these
like
things
he
are
got like a
important to know.
revolutionary. Yeah, he like cool, you know what I mean? He got like the, his swag or whatever, but he is like the messaging and everything is like positive, inspirational, kind of black power type of thing. But it's, his flow is dope. And I do want to be more intentional about that, about like learning more of the lyrics and stuff. Cause you want to be a part of it too. Like in the, everybody is singing along. And I be knowing the tunes of some of them, I can sing the hook, but they got their dances and stuff to it too, so it's real cool.
Nah, that's love. That's I think Negro Fest is a super dope, and it's not obviously everywhere. That's why I always talk about how dope Medellin is because people are starting to hit me up and saying to go places. I think we had talked about that. Like guy was talking about Albania, and I'm like, I think it's important for Black Americans to at least go to places at just to see. You don't have to go live there forever,
Mm-hmm.
but at least to see what the African diaspora looks like abroad, because our understanding of what we've gone through, done, been through, it is a global experience when you get out into the world and you see. And I tell people, back at home, like, okay, Black Americans are a very large population of Africans, but there is a bigger population in Brazil. And there are
Mm-hmm.
slavery came from hundreds of years before people that are now Black Americans were even brought to America. And I'm like, moving abroad to a place like Colombia, going to Negro Fest, it gives you the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the African diaspora. From a global perspective, can y'all talk to me about some of the things that y'all have seen outside of Negro Fest, where you've been able to learn a little bit something different about Black people abroad?
I think one of the things that was shocking when I first did a history tour here in Colombia was pretty much this what they teach us. Like that's the only thing about us is slavery, but it happened everywhere. Like literally, Spain came through here and did horrible things to them here. And I didn't know that. Like growing up, we're not taught that. Also, in America, you're only taught like the light skinned Colombians, right? But which is such
Mm-hmm.
a stark difference when you come here because Afro Colombians are everywhere, are on graffiti, on the walls, in the office, doctor's office, everywhere. It was the first time for me seeing our blackness displayed beautifully. Like if you go to Cartagena, you see all the artists, all the pictures is of women of color. You see, a lot of people think that picture in my house was here. It was already here. Like the African
Yeah.
artifacts on my wall was already here. I have an actual black Jesus in my house. It was already here. And so that was shocking for me just to be riding down the street and it's like a black art African American person like on the walls of the streets with bandanas on and scarves on. So I think it's something that is still not shown in 2025. So when you come over here, you like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. And
Where
then
they been?
yeah, and the other thing that was funny is they don't know the head nod, right? So you be like, like dapping them up, right? And you think they know it. So the head nod is not universal. So that was one of the
Yeah.
things that was funny, but it's definitely
Yeah.
not universal. But it was so refreshing. I think that was a good landing point for me too, because my blackness was seen beautiful here. It wasn't, and I'll be honest, I used to ask that first year, I used to ask when people would ask me to go places, I used to be like, can black people come here? Can black people come here just out of safety, right? Because I didn't go everywhere in the US just out of safety. And then they would look
Yeah.
at me
Get
like,
sundown towns and stuff like that, right? Like, so it is. Yeah, you got to know where you able to go.
yeah, so it was like, why are you asking me that? And I'm like, hey guys, we gotta ask that in America. Like we can't go everywhere. I need to know where
Yeah.
I'm going, how the energy is gonna be. But it's so refreshing to be here and see. And again, I also understand too, because I have Afro-Colombian friends who say they have a different experience. Like they still feel the experience of racism. But For
Hmm.
some reason, I don't know. It's so weird. It's such a line, right? And it's like
Yeah.
it's hard for it to talk about sometimes because you don't want to dismiss how they feel, but you
Yeah.
also want to tell the truth about how you feel. I don't know. What do you think, Michelle?
Ne-
I mean, well, my background too. I mean, my degrees in Black Studies and stuff, and since I've been traveling, these are types of conversations and like research and stuff that I do. And so I happened to know about San Basilio de Palenque, which is near Cartagena, um, about an hour or so outside of Cartagena, which was the very first free town in the Americas, period. Like, as in, enslaved Africans escaping and going and establishing a town of their own, right? Like, this is the first time that this was established in the Americas, like South America, North America. And so I knew about that there. And when you go to places like that, you see a very African presence, right? Like, it reminds me of somewhere I've been in East Africa, West Africa. So, like, it's a very familiar thing because we, as people, even though we change our place, what's in us, what we learned, you know what I mean? Things that were carried back from home are still with us, right? And so you see that as very present there. And I hear the same thing. I haven't been yet, but Choco, which actually I decided to wear a shirt today from a local Afro-Colombian brand. And it's like a map of Choco, which is in the South Pacific. And the presence of that's where a lot of the Afro-Colombians, even a lot of them that you'll see like in Medellin and stuff like that, like from this region, a lot of them come from there because that's, when you think of that type of in that area, near that area, there were like that's where a lot of the plantations and stuff were. A lot of them still are settled in those regions. And so you see, as far as the racism, while it's so controversial, I see it often on social media conversations and stuff sometimes where you'll see like non-black and non-indigenous, Colombians saying, "Oh, we don't do racism like you guys do in America, in the U.S." They love to say like, "Oh, we're all one," and then you'll see the Afro Colombians because a lot of my friends here are Afro Colombians, and I know a totally different reality. So I'm like, I know that that is not their experience, and they'll be like, "Well, hold on, you may not know
Mm-hmm.
about it, but they like we don't say Afro Colombian, we just say Colombian," and it's like, well, no, because that's an erasure of people in their struggles because they have not fully confronted it just the same as we haven't, in the U.S. It's like we know it happens. A lot of people don't know that slavery happened here, that there were plantations. You go to Cartagena, the old town, the old city, and it's the same when you go to the coast of Ghana, the coast of Senegal, anywhere. The slave castles look the same. These
Yeah.
were the
Mm-hmm.
same like colonizers and stuff who went around the world throughout the diaspora. Throughout on the slave trade and stuff. So you'll see these influences, and I think that it's easier because in the U.S. we don't really consider or like Latinos are considered brown, so like a lot of people here in
Mm-hmm.
Colombia, they're like, "Oh no, we're brown," but like Spain is in Europe, so like the ones you ain't got African in your blood. You are European still. That is still European. So whiteness exists here, but they're like they consider themselves white. A lot of them do consider themselves white, and when they come to the U.S., we know them as brown. Like people consider them brown because if they speak Spanish or whatever. But yeah, so it's like it's complex, but it definitely exists here. The racism and people have been making strides. They have the first Afro-Colombian vice president who's
Hmm.
currently sitting. So
Did
yeah,
y'all see her
they're
this week
making
in
strides.
Africa making those connections?
Yeah,
I posted about that.
Yep.
I think
yeah, it's a
everybody's
big.
recognizing Africa is going to be a chokehold on the economy going forward because there's so many people there. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm just hoping that y'all already know I'm gonna stay positive. Everything gonna happen for our greater good. That's it.
Yes, it has to.
It has to.
Yes.
People are going to
Oh,
become more.
And everything. So
yeah. And I think as more people are getting abroad, and because that's a question that comes up a lot is racism and what does it absolutely look like? What did you do, Tisha?
I
Everything
jumped out
okay?
of the live.
You jumped off of Instagram? Yeah, cut them right on off. Cut them right on off.
Okay, I'm
Cold
coming right
world.
back.
But what I was saying was, that's the question that comes up: racism. What does it look like abroad, and different things of that nature? Tisha saying she is not seeing it. Just for context, Tisha is in Santa Marta, Colombia. What I will tell you is that it is on the water. So, places on the water, Pacific coast, or even places like Santa Marta, Cartagena, there are going to be one natively a lot more black people that are easily present. Never mind when going to like Medellin, there's plenty of black people, but depending on where you go, you may not run into them, or you may run into them doing specific things, not knowing that there's an entire subsection of the community that, I mean, it's gonna be of a neighborhood or the city that has an entire black population. One of the biggest things that Americans, when considering looking to move abroad, and what does racism look like, as Michelee and I, we've been in the same rooms, we've heard, like, racism definitely exists here. Like, she sent me, Michelee sent me a video earlier, and people will say, no, racism doesn't exist, but comments when, you are the dark one in the family, or you have fuller lips, or features that would be attributed to African features, even though you may have pale skin, may be looked at as they be, and I feel like in Spanish culture, they like call you what you are. Like, if you're fat, they'll call you gordo. If you're skinny, they'll call you flaco.
That's what I was
If you're
about to
dark,
say,
Right.
guys.
yeah,
They be like,
they'll
maybe
call
it's
you
that.
that. But we all know context and tone. And I think the video that Michelee had shared with me was more so the context and tone, especially of what was being said. And I think that it may be a lot easier for us as Black Americans not to get localized racism, because it may happen initially. If you go in there and you would just have the most basic clothes on, and you don't say anything, and you look like you know where you're going, they may not recognize you as somebody that's not from there until you open your mouth, or you answer the
Listen.
phone, or your Spanish don't work that well, and then
Uh-huh.
it's a different, you may get a different view of what they may think of you versus, why was a security guard following me? Because that happened in Medellin. That didn't
Yeah.
happen in Cartagena though, because
And
it's
Hmm.
a
it
bunch of
doesn't
I
black
just
happen
people
like
heard
that
outside.
in
somebody
Santa Marta. So I hate that that's
Somebody, yeah,
somebody just told me that what's the guy? I can't think. I don't know his real name, but on Insecure, the one
oh yeah, he was at the
like
airport or something.
hazel eyes.
yeah, and he or green eyes, and he in Cart. They said the police roughed him up in Cartagena. They
Oh
thought
yeah,
that he
that
was
was a while ago.
yeah. But like some people, most of us. That's so you mentioned earlier, RJ. You said something about or no, Tisha, that was you. You were saying, like sometimes or most of the time we as black foreigners don't experience the racism here, right?
Mhm.
Because and I've experienced this even in Africa. So which is an interesting thing. So colonialism,
This has been
anti-blackness exists like globally because of especially certain events that's happened throughout the history. So a lot of us think of slavery happening to us. And I want to just also comment that like a lot of us in the US are very ignorant of other people's histories. And the same applies to other people, right? Like everybody doesn't know our history. And a lot of us like tell me what's another country's Independence Day? What's their Juneteenth? You know what I mean? Like when we start to learn stuff like that, it's like, oh, we can see how many things we have in common. But like when you go to other places, like when I first moved abroad and when I started traveling, I was in Africa a lot, and
Hmm.
so in different countries, and so a lot of people didn't know. They were like, but where's your father from? Where's your grandfather from? You know what I mean? They're thinking that I'm
Yep.
denying my African roots, and I'm like, well, you don't know, you don't understand how slavery
I
worked.
don't
They
know
bred us like
it.
animals. Yeah, I'm like they bred us like we don't have that same connection. Many of us don't have
Mhm.
that same connection to be able to be like, oh, my family came from the so and so over here in this area. Whereas
Yeah, that's
when
not
you are
happening.
over there on the continent, a lot of their cultures are very connected to their people. You know what I mean? Their naming. Where they get their names from, certain traditions and stuff like that. And it's like, well, we have been disconnected and it is out of ignorance that we don't know because of how, how it was set up. But yeah, it's the
Mhm.
same thing, going back, a lot of things that they experienced over there. So I got privilege, being a US citizen, being
It's
in some countries.
it's kind of
And it's
crazy to
like,
say, like, yeah, some
yeah,
of us are more privileged slaves than like, it's so
Yes,
weird. The
it's
conversation
a
makes
real
you,
thing.
it's a real thing.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I think ignorance is gonna be everywhere. I don't want people to hear our show and say, "Oh my God, I can't go there because it's just racism." You don't. It's
No,
not
yeah,
seen like that. It's not. It's definitely not seen like that at all. I can't speak for Afro Colombians. I can only tell you guys of examples of what they've gone through. But for us, which is sad to say, we're looked at as the upper echelon, I guess, because we're foreigners and they assume that we're just filthy rich, right? And
because
that's
you could
too,
be got more money than him.
because we got that money, so that we will probably never experience what's happening, right? And so
Hmm.
talk about that. Like, I had a great conversation this weekend with a content creator, and I was talking to her about, doing my page and all this stuff, and she came to me and was like, when people see, and it's for all of us, this is a good conversation for all of us, because we're trying to help so many people with the podcast. When they see our page, they see it so far this up here, right? They see like, oh my God, they're there, they've been living abroad, they're doing it. And most of the people are following us are here trying to figure out like how can I make the jump? How can I take that next step? How did she get from here to here? And was saying that we should
Hmm.
start from the freshness of it, like the fun of it when we were sitting back home just like them, and tell our stories from that point of view, because it to them we are up here. And I'm like, really?
Yeah,
That doesn't and so that was some feedback that I said, oh, I got to bring to my team, because we've had years in this, right? So we're assuming everybody
yeah,
that's following us been following us for the whole time, and they already know how we started this story, how all of us got abroad,
yeah,
and many don't, right? And I think what
yeah.
she's saying is, the gap is so big, and we got to just dumb our
Yeah.
conversation down. So I thought that was something good to bring up tonight, to like talk about like
Okay.
day one, RJ, when you was like, America is enough. Day one, when you were like, I can really do this abroad, right? Because it is still, we think it's easy at this point, right? Because we know what life is like being abroad. But to them, they still see this as like a Achilles heel. Like, what do you mean leave the only family I know? What do you mean leave America? Like, what's going to happen to me? So I thought that was a good conversation to bring up tonight. Like, how can we simplify it so the people who are just meeting us, who are just learning about us, can understand how to make that leap of faith, and just do and create a better life for themselves.
Nah, that's real. That is real. I do. Let's actually get into that. But I do have a live question, and I have put it up there. And then we're gonna go right into that topic about why the heck and what started it. For sure, because I think that is definitely good to meet people there. The question was: is Medellin still open to foreigners, or have they become cold to expats like in Mexico City? Uh, I don't.
Mm,
I think there's more angst online than there is in person,
mm-hmm.
and Medellin specifically. There's a lot more people that, and probably them people don't even live in Colombia. They may be Colombian living somewhere else, because I don't walk around Medellin and feeling like people are like, "Why are you here? Why are you?" I don't get that, but there have been protests in certain pockets of the city, specifically regarding gentrification and pretty much people just coming and raising the race and throwing money around. Like the things that kill me in Medellin are the $1 million the 6 figure a month earner income meetings. It's like they're like all of the richest people allegedly are coming to Medellin for their hub, and I think that us, as far as us, are probably not in a position, not from a financial perspective, not saying that, but in a position to where we're going to be lumped in with the groups of what happened in Mexico City. Now, it is a big lump, but I don't think it's like isolated down to you, anybody individually, or us as Black Americans running around, at least in Medellin. That's the only place I can speak for with certainty.
I've definitely, like you said, there have been protests here. I speak to my students, I teach English out here too. So, and I have, multiple friends who are from here. So I talk to them about these things. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm not watching like their local news or something. So I might be missing some stuff, right? But like on the streets, and talking to people, I check in like with my local friends, my neighbors and stuff all the time to see like how they feel, right? Like I want to be aware, you know what I mean? And even talking to them, like hopefully giving them a little hope as well. Now, I think there is an overall more positive outlook on, on them. You ask a lot of them and they're like, oh, well, foreigners bring more opportunities and, you know, um, just business and stuff like that. But like you said, when it comes to gentrification, this is a very real thing that we have to be considerate of. But this is also why RJ, like how you and I did the conversation, for example, with some of our Colombian friends, we had our expat chat and we talked about different issues like trying to bridge these gaps. And have these conversations so there is more understanding. And I think especially for, other people in the diaspora, including, like the Afro population here, and anywhere that we might go. I think it's especially helpful, especially with us with privilege, because we do realize that we don't know how it happens, like how it makes sense. Sometimes it's like, well, we still Black, but it's like, no, but you have privilege when your money is worth more, when your passport, we don't even realize because of when, like, especially those of us who really travel, in a lot of places you go and get a stamp, like collecting the stamps in your passport is the whole thing, right? And many people, you can't just up and move. Like, this is a privilege that we have. Well, it don't work out here. I'm gonna go hop over, I'm gonna go do a border run. I'm gonna go hop over to this other country and explore. And for people, they have to plan months in advance. You gotta have so much money saved up because even that, like travel is a privilege, you know what I mean? Having the resources to do so. They're not, I talked to some students last week and they were just like, it's not really possible for them to save like that. Like, their rent is not going to cost as much as ours in the US or anywhere, but still with the compared to the salaries that most of them are getting, like their minimum wage, we don't really understand how less, how impossible it is to like really live off of that. Some of us do, considering where we come from, where some of us come from back in the States. It ain't like we don't have poor and we don't have a ghetto and stuff like that. Like of course we do. So we can understand it, but it gotta come with understanding when we are in a position of privilege come into these places.
I think it's two ways to
Yeah,
look at it. I
it's
think
hard.
uh, I think it's definitely two ways to look at it. I feel like a lot of times we're getting the blame for gentrification when we're coming here paying what's requested from the Colombians. So I think some of the stuff that's being thrown at expats needs to be a conversation amongst the Colombians, right? Because if I come to a place and I say, I would love to live here, I can't go to this person who owns this house and say, I'm not paying nothing but $700. Or it's like they want us to fight a fight that we can't fight. And the same thing happened in America. I think my conversation mostly goes to my team and the people that I know is like we were just like you guys. Y'all remember in America when we was getting paid $2 and $3 an hour?
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
y'all remember that? I think they assume that we have
Yes.
always lived in abundance and we have not. And I think teaching them how to get from that low income to get to the point where we have some of us have made it is more better than having this war against like it just doesn't make
Well,
sense to me.
can let me just say so on that. I agree. I totally agree that it's something that internally should be happening more. For example, there's a place I went exploring over here in Antioquia. It was like on the countryside, right? Like in the mountains. And so what I learned about this community is the ecotourism company and how they came to establish that. It's like you see mostly, other folks coming through their towns, they're like really tight knit communities and stuff. It's like all the neighbors know each other and stuff like that. So they would see foreigners start to come in. And a lot of foreigners are just very ignorant, not knowing how to communicate, like through language, through knowing cultural norms and stuff like that. And so like they'll see them basically coming in on their land. Like you're in my backyard and you're not saying hi. You over here exploiting, you leaving trash. Right. So talking to these people, they actually got together as a community and they were like, look, this is what you guys are able to access. They set up certain like what do you call it, like cabins and stuff, like this is where these are the accommodations and these are directly benefiting the people from this neighborhood. These they went and paved some roads and they went and did some little things and they established their ecotourism thing within their community. You know what I mean? And like honestly, a lot of times like structurally that's not there. You know what I mean? In a lot of different countries, that
Yeah.
the infrastructure as far as setting up, like establishing certain things. So like with regulations, that's why I feel like all out in the open. It's so much opportunity, which it is. There's a lot of opportunity because it's not regulations like that. But that is still structurally up on them, and a lot of times people in their communities, they don't want to be taken advantage of, but they don't necessarily have that power and the resources all the time. But some of them are doing it. I just want to acknowledge that. There are people in certain
That's dope to
who
hear, though.
are setting that up. And they're like, look, if you're going to come here and benefit and be able to, take advantage of this stuff, then the people in this community are going to benefit too.
That's a
And I
definite
think
another way to definitely look at it. But I just don't understand that argument of like y'all got to remember the same thing happened in America, right? And so
Mhm.
I don't know. I think there's something needs to be set up that we can do. That's probably one of the reasons why I do a lot of business here, so I can give back in that way. I can provide consistent jobs to the people here, and I'm always pushing them
Mhm.
like, y'all, nobody gave us a handout. Like literally, y'all see us like this all this money. No one I remember when we made that much money, right? So talk to them about how to get up out of that, how to have a work
Yeah.
ethic, how to not quit every Monday, how to be the best on every job that you go on, because
Mhm.
I have a whole different construct here in Santa Marta. Like we have a laid back lifestyle. Medellin, you guys are in a city, so there's a whole it's a whole
there's
different
a different
dynamic.
I
hustle.
So I think
agree.
it's a different hustle. So I think we're gonna always have different um ideas or experiences in that arena. And I think what helps them more is like teaching them how to get out of that, right?
I
Nobody's coming to save
So
y'all.
I think
And
Tisha,
nobody's
I don't think it's
Well,
an either or. I think it's an and situation because, like, how we're doing, like, for example, I absolutely love what you are doing out there in Santa Marta. The opportunities, how you deal with your team, the opportunities you provide. I know how you give back, and that's so valuable. Also, how we, RJ and I, like I said, we have conversations that we set up amongst people, locals and foreigners, so we can have these conversations. And it's gonna take like fortunately for us as US citizens, based on our education, right? Like we learn about all of these moguls, you know what I mean? Of they the industrial revolution, all of these things to where we are sold this idea of like this American dream and we can do anything. So a lot of us we are able to also see how these things are structured in the US. Like we are privileged to be from a place where all of these industries exist and stuff that don't exist other places yet, or not at least on that level, to create like possibilities for yourself, right? Like the very real thing is that a lot of people don't have running water. They don't have shelter, like stable shelter and food and stuff like that. So that's not how is that? How am I thinking about being a millionaire when I need to think about eating and sheltering myself right now? Like that's a very real thing. So if we are doing things like to give back, like the program that I started, and things that I do, it's more about teaching them how to fish rather than just giving them fish. It's not about charity because I don't have it
boom.
like that to give you all of my resources. You know what I mean?
That's
So
what
it's
I'm
like,
talking about, teaching them to how to get it, because nobody
right,
gave it to us and the government ain't gonna give it to them. How to build
right.
community, how to figure out this water thing, how to figure out these issues. That's what I want, because it we can't just throw money at it.
Yeah.
It's
It
I
handicapped.
just
That
I don't know.
but hold on, y'all. Y'all remember we started this conversation with gentrification. So yes, because it was starting, originally started with gentrification. So let's bring it back
Uh-huh.
around because y'all have to. I think what we started with is, well, gentrification happens everywhere, but what there's a two-part scenario when it had comes to abroad, and we all of us, I know for a fact, are doing our part, which is trying to educate people on life, how much things actually cost, because anybody that's a business owner, poor Colombians, we're not renting from them. Or poor people in a local place, they're not the ones that are renting the houses. They don't own the properties. It is the more affluent people. But if somebody and you're used to renting at $700 comes in and their rent is $3,000 in the United States for a box, and listen, you see it on the web. Go on any Facebook group. You see, I have a $3,000 USD budget, and I'm looking for a two-bedroom apartment. Who's going to say no? Because people are actively saying, "I've got $3,000 to spend," even though the apartment only rents at 500. So we have to one try to do our best, but we can't do that. That's a local situation of saying, "Hey, the owners don't go making everything this price because here come these people and not knowing anything and they're willing to pay it," as well as educating the Americans to understand that don't walk in a room and show all your cards. Why don't you ask somebody how much things cost?
What?
These things are all nuanced
Yeah,
down to that, but we can't do that and grasp
yeah,
everybody. But that's what should happen,
yeah,
honestly. Meeting in the middle
yeah.
with
I
that.
think
Also, I my experience just as a creative and as a person, like as a wanderer, and I've traveled to a lot of places, and I love exploring
exploring
the
the
market.
markets, for example, most places around the world, it's like a bartering system. In some places, it gets extreme.
You need to sit down.
You have to exchange greetings.
They offer you their
Negotiate.
coffee. It's a conversation before you buy something.
So you could get frustrated.
If we come from a place where we used to seeing a price tag, and that's the price.
Otherwise, you got to
Know how to barter, and that's part of the. It's like it's a
Yeah.
cultural thing too. So it's like
a lot of us don't
realize
that that is a very real thing as well. And they got to
feel your energy. They won't do it. They won't rent to you if they feel your energy is bad. It ain't just about the money.
we come from a place that is,
It's just about the money a lot of times.
you know what I mean? So it's like there are other
Things involved that we just have to be more aware of.
and again, I feel like
But all of this stuff comes through conversations, comes through
through understanding and not thinking that
when you go to another place that you're bringing your same
rules and
background to it. You got to adjust and know what's going on. I think it would be beneficial for us. I think about this often. It's like, especially as Black people, connecting with the Black people locally. And I don't, no matter where we are, because
Black people everywhere
are the most,
you know
we experience the poverty. Like if it's bad for them, for other people, it's really going to be bad for us.
you know what I mean, wherever we are
In the world, like that is the reality. I have not seen different.
I don't care what continent
I've been on.
it's the same exact situation. So I think like what we were just
Just talking about is like showing them how to fish.
because again we come from in our Western world, all the aspects are not positive. Like with
The whole money
thing, I don't think that we
should
should,
go taking advantage of people the way that we're taking advantage of back home.
but we have some knowledge on how to set stuff up structurally for them to be sustainable so they're not continuously
Taking advantage of.
that's what I think needs to be happening, like with that
Conversation. Like Tisha does a
oh my god, if you see this woman
woman working with her team, like
just how she set
set it up. The government, the local government need to hire her. Honestly, they need to hire her. Like this is how you set up employees. Like this is how you get them dedicated. Like her team are
is loyal to her.
she sets up all these opportunities. Like it's amazing, and we having that background, having that knowledge, and then having the freedom
To where we can go out
out in the world
that frees us up
to be able to be
to have
this type of impact.
so yeah
It needs to happen.
It did, yeah, because I don't know how to. I'm not in those chats to like educate them on pricing every day. The only benefit I know how to do, I
Mm.
know everybody who has ever worked with me would never be the same, and they gonna stand up. Period. And so that's the only thing I know how to do is like put that fire under them because I'm not in those chats trying to tell. I don't know what it is. And then I look at it too on the other side. Like these Colombians been waiting years to make profit. So I see it both ways. It's so weird. But what we can do in more of the impoverished areas, yes, I would love to try to do more. But I also think throwing money at it ain't gonna work. We gotta teach
Mhm.
them how to
No.
get up out that
Yeah.
out of that situation because
Yeah. I think
we had to learn.
empowering, I think helping to empower those who are able, because there are some hard workers here, right? We're not saying that like at all, like there are no people with ambition or aspirations or stuff. There, I know so many creative and ambitious people, and they do well with what they have, right? They're trying. And I think first of all, like a couple thoughts. I think that a new wave of us with certain knowledge and resources that we should help pour into people who we see are proving it. There are so many people that I know. Like I said, I've been out here. You know, me being a creative, I'm making stuff and I'll go set up a in a marketplace because I love being that's my thing. You know what I mean? I love being in the market. I love selling my things in person and also being in that type of environment. And so the people that I am selling amongst, listen, they stuff is together, but sometimes they don't have the resources to grow. They don't have the opportunities and the know-how, you know what I mean, like on how to grow the way that we just know from being from where we're from. You know what I mean? It's like some of these things are more available to us, and seen as also more possible. Because I talked to some students and they were like, they're just not kind of encouraged to be entrepreneurs here. Like that's honestly, I've heard it from multiple people, so I know it's something that's true. They're like in school, how like that's why I brought up like we are taught about the steel industry, and we see all of these people that have monopolies, and they're multi-billionaires, their family are still billionaires and stuff like that. Now I don't believe in like that type of greed, you know what I mean? But it's still something in it where we can see how possible it is, and with certain resources that we have. But yeah, I think empowering the locals to do that work, to further do that work in that community. I don't think that we should, because I think it's handicapping to just be giving out. We can't just be throwing out cash and stuff like that. I think it's better to empower those who want to pour into their own communities here, because they'll be more in touch with them anyway.
Hmm.
I think that's what
Somebody said you should write a
the
book on team management. I told you this, Tisha. I said you need to do a course, honestly. Listen, a whole boot camp, because you do it so masterfully. I'm like always impressed.
It's 20 some years, y'all, of operations management. But I don't know. Hakeem, what you thinking? You haven't had a chance to.
RJ.
Oh yes.
He
Hakeem
like,
must be talking about me.
right. That I'm like, where he at? Um, that is the
Yeah.
seat at the table. I was having this conversation at the other day, and I was talking about people asking about a seat at the table. And one day, I've been in rooms with a bunch of Colombian people, and they said, maybe in the next generation we'll get a seat at the table. And I just wanted to scream it, like, never mind that table. What I tell people is the diaspora is the table is what we are talking about. It is bringing the resources across the diaspora. Maybe Americans were taught to help be able to build businesses and things of that nature. Colombians were taught other resources that can help Americans and vice versa. And across the diaspora, how can we consider putting these opportunities together where we can learn? We can make more fishers of men instead of just here go something to eat for today and give other people opportunities. And I think that is important when you consider because accumulation isn't I don't think, and I realize that now. I think it's really big on Americans' heart, but I think people are just looking for stability. They may want to be able to grow and different things, but a lot of people are just being able to look from how can I be stable with these things that I'm doing, consistently working, having time for my family, having that life that I'm actually looking for. And that's a thing that is across American tables, that's across Colombian tables, and finding us in the middle of how do we go as Americans from running 1,000 miles an hour, and then how, because in Colombia things are laid back, especially in the beach towns, but you know
mm-hmm.
how time goes in Colombia as well.
Yeah.
So it's like finding that ground where we can have commonalities with each other and share. That is where the opportunity for us to learn. That's just not even just black people, but just global people in general, that certain pockets got like really, really good skills, but they're really deficient in other places. And we can actually be in a position to really like network and build whatever the community it is that we're looking to build by sharing these resources. So you guys are definitely doing a great job with that. I do want to circle back to that convo because you're right, Tisha. A lot of people are not where we are, and we think of our lives as this is just our life. It's just normal. You just get up and you go down to whatever, and it's just. But that's not where a lot of people are. I realize that so many people are still in America trying to figure out like, okay, I understand you're there and you're telling us what it's like over there, but how did you get there? What was the
Get
reason why
there.
you even left? So I will tell you guys this. Mine was not politically motivated.
Mhm.
The reason I left had nothing to do with politics. It had nothing to do with even with COVID. Um, it was a culmination of a bunch of things. One, I didn't have everything, but I had everything that I thought that I could possibly want. Like I had the car, I had the clothes, I lived in a nice place, and it was just more accumulation of stuff. So that was one thing that was definitely in the back of my head and thinking, how long can I go? Am I going to make it to 65 with all of this stuff and really have lived the life that I want to live? But that wasn't the biggest thing. The biggest thing was the dollar amount just kept going up. And as an entrepreneur, even making good money, if they keep raising the amount, I don't want to keep having to go work more or start charging my customers outrageous rates just to be able to afford the lifestyle that I want to live, which is just peace and happiness. So it was like, how many times can I sit here and take a $5,000 a month budget and now it's at $7,000 and now it's at, and then it just America, because everybody, no matter if moving abroad is on your radar or you just travel and want to see a vacation and those that day before, when you got to start putting all your stuff back in the bag and you get that dreading feeling of you going back to your normal ass life, you like,
Yeah.
what if I could do that all the time? What if I didn't have to go feel like I was dragging my ass back to my normal ass life? Not saying everybody's life was normal, but those were the reasons why I left. Never mind, y'all know Jazz. Jazz couldn't eat anything. It was a matter of us not being able to eat food there. Bread, certain wines, poultry. She's like, I can't eat anything. And it's like, well, she's going to eat water and celery for the rest of your life? There, there were so many reasons, but it was like, okay, now what do I do? Now, I'm going to stop there because that was honestly the straw that broke my camel's back. What was it on you guys and that was like leading up to, okay, this is what I did once I realized this was enough?
I think it was a combination of everything you just said. Like I was buying all my food from like Hello Fresh. I had did the farmers market. I was past that. I was past Whole Food. I was just like I don't want it to come from America, right? So we were just doing everything. I was vegan. I was inflamed. My knee hurt. The crime, the over sexualization, I think was too much for me. Like on the TV, I remember growing up, they would just kiss on the TV and it was a big deal. Like your parents would cover your eyes, like, oh my God, they're kissing. And now they full blown having sex. And at that time, we got a child, we got a son. And so it was, I think it's never one thing, right? It's never one thing. It's just it's like, okay, again, like we making six figures. My husband's making six figures, just like RJ said. It's like, when is it enough? Like, okay, now our expenses 10 grand a month. Like, okay, we ready to go. We got to get a bigger house, right? Because that's what they said. Now it's, oh, get another house, get a newer car. It's like, what? This is nothing made sense. And then in the back of your mind, you also worrying about 401k and do I have enough to retire? And then it's like, I'm looking at my parents and they still working. And I'm like, wait a minute, something about this don't make sense. And you guys got to remember, again, I had never traveled out of the country, so fear is not real. If you have the desire, if you have the inkling, you just make the jump. You don't have to be like me. I settled. Travel. Michelee gonna talk about how she did this even before we was even thinking about it. I mean, 12 years ago, girl, I don't even know what I was. 12 years ago, I was
Listen,
climbing that corporate ladder, right?
I
Thinking that's what I was supposed to do.
still
Boom,
had
boom, boom, boom,
hair
boom.
12 years ago, y'all.
Yeah.
yeah. Listen, that ain't never because I think for me, first of all, me being a creative, I knew that my energy, I felt stifled there. I saw how they try to kill our spirit, and it's not impossible. A lot of us see a lot of success there, right? Because it got to be in us too. And our people, just knowing the legacy of our people, look at all that we've accomplished. Look at all that we've overcome. It's not impossible, but it's not the healthiest environment to be in. And I don't believe in staying somewhere where I don't feel like I'm going to be able to really grow like that. I don't want to constantly be fighting against the wave. I have a
Ooh.
spirit, and like how I want to move, how I need to move, it needs to be supportive of my spirit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying, I'm not about to be,
Hmm.
I'm not built to be arguing with folks. I'm gonna have to be like my favorite ancestor, Harriet. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta keep that thing on because it ain't no way. I'm not arguing. I'm not justifying my being, me just being a person, and I'm not doing all of that stuff, right? And so
Mhm.
also I have a background in Black studies. Look, like I said, my degree is in Black studies, so I know a little bit more than the average person about our actual history. And so I'm like, nah, these devils ain't about to get, nah, you ain't about to trap me in here. Like, I get it. And so, like, some of my favorite revolutionaries had also lived abroad. And that's what also inspired me. I'm like, this is possible. People out here, like, I started traveling early. I joined a travel community early on in my travel journey. And I was just like, people are out here doing it. I'm seeing more people that look like me. Now, I was one of the younger ones at the time because I started traveling like my early 20s. And I remember, just working in a hair salon while I was in college. And so I'm my own boss. I'm making my own money. So I would literally write down like on the MARTA, I'm in Atlanta on the MARTA, on the way to work, like how many clients I need. I got a trip, I'm about to do, how much money I need. So I started making it very possible. It's very attainable. You know what I mean? So that's how I started. And so when I'm in these other places, I'm like, people are living and working and doing stuff like normal. So why can't I do that here?
My
And
God.
so I did a study abroad actually in my junior or senior year in college. And yeah, and I went to Tanzania. And so I'm like, I had always wanted to be in Africa. That's where I wanted to start. And I just saw, like, I was picking up the language quick. I'm like knowing how to go to the store and get what I need. I know how to get home. Like, so I'm like, this is very possible. And I think that was the barrier, that me already being courageous, but then taking the steps, like seeing how it was possible to just do it, which started at home. I went to school in Atlanta. I didn't have family in Atlanta. I'm from LA. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so
Same as me.
that was already, I always count that as my pre living abroad moment, because
Mhm.
I had to, I ended up having people that were like family there, you know what I mean? But I didn't go there like my blood family. And so it's like I had already had that experience of like kind of being out in the world on my own like that. And I was like, I can do this, and
Yeah.
like, why not? I love experiencing different cultures and connecting with people. And like, it's done so much for me, just as an individual. But I'm like, I see the impact that I can also have on people, just building these relationships and going places. Because there's people that, like, I realize even people with less money, you get to other places. Like I said, some people might not have running water and electricity and stuff like that. And a lot of people still travel. Like, I've met travelers of all different economic, circumstances or whatnot. And
Michelee
so
was
yeah,
the
I'm like,
first solo traveler. She was the first solo traveler ever.
listen, I had my struggling backpacking days back then. I done done, some hostels and some, traveling by bus or, on road and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that was just me. I just have a wandering spirit, and I'm just grateful that I actually followed it without, being fearful.
Yes. That part. I think that part is the most priceless part. Like how you say, I never thought about it. Like, oh, I picked up and moved to Atlanta from Petersburg, from a small town, like by
Yeah.
myself. So I
Mhm.
never even looked at it like, oh, that was my first voyage, right? And
Yes.
I think people get so hung up on like family and all of that stuff. Like a lot of us haven't seen family in years, and we okay, and they
We are
okay, right?
okay.
Like we okay, and they okay. And I think they get hung up in thinking like, oh, I gotta be stuck here on this same block because grandma ain't gone and mama ain't gone. But when they leave, I'm gonna go and travel. That's crazy. That is
Yes. Just
crazy.
imagine.
Okay.
Just imagine, like, just on
A
another
lot of
topic,
people.
But like on the same thing,
A lot of people are not able to live their lives how they want to
based on families and other
people's expectations of them
That's
anyway.
some people's parents.
And,
crazy.
and family be fearful, and they have still that fear in them, like, oh, don't you get kidnapped, don't you see? I got friends who like they parents always giving them an update on, and it's like that was nowhere near me. Like I am fine. That happened nowhere near me. Like
All
I'm
day.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that
is
fear,
crazy for
they'll
people to
definitely
put
put
their
that
life on
fear on you when
hold.
you
Yes,
go to
you
try to.
can't.
Nah, I'm not about to put my. I was never one of those people. I would go by myself before I let somebody else stop me from going because I remember even when there's y'all everybody talked about going to Atlanta. Yeah, that was I went to Atlanta too. From at 18 years old, I think I applied to every school that was going to get me out of Philadelphia, and I ended up settling in Atlanta. And it was a matter of my dad was like, "I'll give you a car. I'll buy you a car if you stay in Philadelphia or
Mhm.
in Pennsylvania, just any Pennsylvania joint." And I'm like, "I'm gonna be carless in somebody else's state, bro, because I'm out." And I left, and
I'm out.
I went down there by myself. I didn't go with a bunch of friends from high school. When I got there, I saw people that I happened to know, but it wasn't like I was like, I'm willing to go down there with little to nothing.
To
So
nothing.
it may have already been
Yeah.
kind of inherently in us, and then I
Yeah.
tell people because as entrepreneurs, we don't really have like a box that we fit in. We kind of broke out of the
At all.
box. But what happened in America was it started feeling like a box. Like it just was like I lived in Philadelphia, Atlanta, Florida, multiple different cities in Florida. I had literally lived in every state and city that I had wanted to. And it was like, what else is left? I've seen what it is that I need to see in this place with all of its shortcomings, with all of its craziness and the things that we mentioned. I was like, this is a box. And I've told myself I wasn't going to ever be put back in a box again. And now I'm
Yeah.
feeling like this entire country, from Maine all the way to Oregon, feels like it's just a little too small for me. And the things that go on inside of it, they're no longer something I want to subscribe to. And I think that is something because it's weird to hear, but it makes sense. That was inherently why we end up leaving wherever we were originally from anyway. Like, not necessarily in a negative way, like, oh, that's a bad box or oh, but it was just like, I think there's more out here, and my soul and my spirit is calling me to go explore it. You know what I mean? So,
That's
some
so
of
true.
y'all probably have it in you. That's the first step in realizing that moving abroad is on your radar. Think about what it is that we just went through, as far as just talking about it and thinking of some of the things that we did in our younger days, which led you to the time that you're sitting right here, watching this conversation and thinking about, okay, well, those reasons sound like exactly my reasons, and you know what? I did kind of go out on my own or leave the family or the nest home and or do things differently than most people expected me to. Maybe this is my next journey or my next task. And I know one of the biggest things when I said, okay, I'm out. I was like, but where? Like, where do I go? I mean, it's the entire world. I felt like Prince Akeem and Semi. Where should we go, Semi? And you just throw a dart at the globe and you just land on something and they
Yeah.
happen to land on Queens. Like literally, I started thinking about where it was going to be realistic. And the from what I was doing at the time, the Western Hemisphere just was like, nah. The time zone was already going to be a thing for me, and I know a lot of people are putting that consideration. And Thailand wasn't as much in my face back then as I feel like it is now. And people are starting to realize that process when considering, all right, let me start getting my stuff together, rolling out of here. But once I do all of that, where am I actually going to go? Because that's really listening to the first process before packing anything.
Yes. Please do your research, guys.
Mhm.
Let's
What did
talk
you do,
about that.
Tisha?
The top five
How'd you land in
destinations that
Colombia?
everybody's going to.
Colombia is number two. So why'd you end up in Santa Marta? How
How
did you
and
get
why?
Colombia on your list and you never went anywhere?
Right? I'm just crazy like that. No, I just started on YouTube, y'all. I was like, where is the expats traveling? I didn't know an expat personally. I just said, where's the safest places for expats? And there was a couple of them. I kept searching that over and over again. What's consistent? What keeps coming up on the list? And I just went to start seeing them. I went to Turkey first, and I would live there any day of the week. Like forever, but it's just so far. Mexico was never a vibe for me. It just reminded me of America. I didn't want to go when I left America. I didn't want to see any fast food. I didn't want to see no Walmarts. I didn't want to see nothing that resembled America. I wanted to get as far away from that food supply. And then when I got to Colombia, I think it chose me. I think every country you'll end up in will choose you somehow because
Mhm.
again we were just on a journey of like, okay, we're going to visit all these places on this list, and when we got here, it just stopped here. And
Yeah.
people ask me that
It
all the
just
time,
stopped.
like, it just stopped. They ask me that all the time, like, are you going to just remain here? I think Colombia will forever be home base for me. Um, but my goal is to have visas and citizenship in many places. I want property in many places. I have land in other places that I haven't even told people about, and it'll eventually come out. But my goal is to be everywhere. Like the globe is ours, y'all. Like the world is
Yes,
yours. Like
it
go
is.
for it. Go out and experience things. I think we forgot about that because we were so looking for a home base so long, and being around our family. It's some kind of innate and trauma in us, right? There's some type of trauma in us that makes us feel like we have to
Hmm.
be amongst the people we were born with. It's weird. But I
Right.
think the moment you break that construct, your life is going to expand in so many ways, and you'll be able to service your family even more than you would staying there. Like
Yes.
if I can just put that in words, like I haven't seen my mom in 4 years, but the things I'm still able to do and things she's able to see through my eyes, she's never gonna forget that. The things
Hmm.
my nephews and stuff are able to see through my eyes, they're never gonna forget that. And so I believe we come back to this life to do it over and over again, and it's gonna be a different experience for them the next time. But please don't let that be the reason why you're stuck and staying. You're not supposed to just sit there and watch your parents pass away and not live your life. They've
Right.
lived their life. They've done so
Right.
many things that they don't even tell us about. My mama got so many secrets, so so so
Listen,
go go out and create your own secrets, right? And it's not to say forget about your family, but it's just really like this is your life and you're gonna
Yes.
regret it waiting. And that was one of the things I was so happy when I left. I was like, oh my God, you could have sat there and just waited till your mama passed away, waited till you was 65 to retire. Like, what was that gonna be like?
Now you got a bad hit. How you gonna explore? I got so many people who have told me that like once they retired and get their pension and whatever, you gonna be broken. You gonna be hurting. You ain't gonna be
your
able to go
hip gonna
hiking
hurt,
and
your
go
back gonna hurt.
paragliding and none of this stuff.
You gonna be asleep by 5 p.m.
Like, do not wait.
Like
I,
Do
I
not
totally
wait.
that's the cap. That's
Yeah.
cap.
And
That's
And I
cap.
do
anybody
think that
telling you
it's
to wait, anybody that's telling you to wait, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that ain't good. I
right.
don't know. Anybody
yeah.
telling
I
you
Nah,
say
you
to
ain't even on a limb, sis.
I say that it is
Like you said,
See
we
all of it.
have we should explore the world. You know what I mean? We are. I do see us as like we're torchbearers in a way. You know what I mean? Of like especially in this day and age with the resources that we have, like many of us from the beginning of time have been exploring this earth. We see evidence
yes.
of us everywhere, right? So this is not new. However, in this time that we are in right now, with the resources and the knowledge that we have, and the impact that we are able to have, like on our own communities, on our own families, like you said, Tisha, like we are sometimes the first of our families who are. Now, I do know people like from maybe that I kind of grew up with, like maybe they were like first generation American, like from the Caribbean or something like that, who have experienced from the Caribbean. Actually, I know a lot of like people from like West Africa, like Nigeria and Ghana, who grew up in the States, and they're like they had to go back to their family village every summer. It's people who have had those types of experiences. But like for those of us like African Americans without that like connection to another land, I think we definitely should be.
going out and exploring more, just what it does for you, just the peace, finding your tribe, finding new opportunities. Like this is a great opportunity. We are like pioneers in this, in a way, you know.
Yes. Yes. That's a
We bring
huge.
it back to old school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because our family really did move
When I
around.
say that, bring it back to old school, that we have been told, hey, black people is bad, and you when story starts, circulated all over this world. We are actually leaders that are now doing it into a place where you are essentially writing it down, making a video log of it because they have tried to erase a lot of it. They have tried to whitewash a lot of it. And now when you see so many black people like, I want to go see the world, it's because it's inherently in you to go and explore and to see these things. It's not inherently in you to be stuck in America because that's the history that they've given you is y'all been stuck in America since here. And before then, y'all were just in a couple of huts. So we got you out of there. Like that's what the story has been told about us. And we know
Yes.
better both from,
And
we knew better before living cool than what I Asperger's scale.
That I think we losing you, RJ.
yeah, I can barely hear it sometimes, but yeah, I think that we also can't listen to the messaging that they tell us about other places, because the why so many people think highly of the US is because of the American propaganda system. It's effective, okay? People don't really, until recent years, and people are really seeing the inside scenes of what go on there. Like they see the craziness that we actually been dealing with for so long now. Listen, that you think that they're gonna tell us that it's better in other places? Like, is we have to see that for ourselves. We can't be relying on news sources. We can't be relying on, on them who want to keep us there, who want to keep us working and overworked, right? To where we don't have the leisure time to explore, to be free, to be creative. Like we're not. That's the situation that we have to break up and realize that we're in there. And so, like, once you allow yourself to explore outside of that box, listen, because I'm telling you, some of my best life experience, most of my best life experiences have been in all of these different countries, and somebody
Yes.
like it's somebody welcoming me into their home. You know what I mean? Like having a home cooked meal, eating out of somebody else's hands. Like it's just been some crazy, wild experiences that I don't want no children, but I will gladly be telling my niece all of these stories, when I get older, when she gets older. Like it's so much richness that I'm gaining. And again, thankfully for me not being too afraid to go explore places. Like I love being in Africa. I love being in majority black places. And I've had some beautiful experiences, but let them tell it. These are on these are on the no go list. You know what I mean? So don't listen to all of that. You just gotta go see for ourselves. Please, y'all, please go explore.
Nah,
One question was, what's one myth about moving abroad you wish you could debunk for good? That's a good question.
Mhm.
one
I think the invisible unsafety thing, I think that's one because I think we so conditioned to believe that America is safe and nobody ever look
Ain't
up the
that crazy?
crime into the statistics. Nobody ever actually look at that. I think that is one of the biggest myths ever. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but
safety.
it's a lie. Like, is there crime happening in other countries? Absolutely, y'all. But it don't, you don't feel it. I don't know. All I can say is the fear mongering is real, and until you go to the place, you will realize that it's not that serious. Now, don't be silly going up into projects and all this stuff. You didn't do that in the U.S., so why would you come to the different countries and
Exactly.
do silliness like that? Like what? And so no,
You
if you're
did
in your
be in the
normal
projects.
everyday life, living abroad, nothing's really gonna happen to you abroad, right? I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't club. I don't do any of those things like that. So I don't know if it's just a night like that they getting these rumors from, but I think that is a huge myth that keeps us stuck in America. Like Michelee said, the propaganda is real. America cannot tell you all these other places are nice and your nervous system is gonna relax and you're gonna age 10 years backwards. Because if everybody left America, who's keeping America rich? Who's keeping America the number one quote unquote company? I mean country. So they can't tell us, hey, you're gonna go and experience something that you haven't felt in a long time. It's gonna feel real, real good. And you ain't gonna
Right.
want to come back. They can't tell you that. You gotta pay them taxes. You got to keep the wealthy
Exactly.
rich. You got to keep their money. You got to
Exactly.
keep having debt because they don't make money until you create debt, guys. That is a trippy thing I wanted to say too. The other day my girlfriend brought my mail to me and I still got it in a box, and I got anxiety because I was like, damn, we don't even get like bills. We don't even get propaganda to tell us to buy stuff. We don't get any of that stuff. Like nothing is I
Mhm.
don't have a I have a mailbox downstairs with security that tells me of my utilities here, but outside of that there is no communication. I'm going to grab the bag so y'all can see it. But that is
Okay.
something you forget about. I've been gone what,
Yeah.
4 years now. We don't get mail. We don't get those papers and all that stuff.
Constant.
So
Yeah.
bombarding us with advertisements, like, because that's the thing, and
That's how that place gets.
to be one of the richest places in the world.
And because
And look at, like, it's so much evidence of that. This is not stuff that we should be even
having a debate is
stuff now. Like, we know enough information has come out to where we know, like, the structure of our school system is meant to pump out workers. We're meant to keep making other people's dream. That's the American dream that people keep chasing. It's like
you're working
to make somebody else's dream happen. And I'm not saying everybody has to be an entrepreneur. This life is not for everybody. We already know, you know what I mean? But like,
we just have to be more
conscious of
how yeah, how we
this
can
was
do
in
more.
my PO box.
that is crazy.
This was in my PO box, girl. I didn't even open it because I'm like, oh, this is gonna give me panic attacks of being in America. I haven't seen mail like this in years.
That's crazy.
Did I? I think I clicked on something, RJ.
I didn't do it.
I don't know
If
what
it's
I
broke, I
did.
didn't do it.
Yeah,
Nah, I had to switch.
But yeah, so
Nah,
those are
phone was acting up.
okay. That's you. So those are some of the things like we take for granted, like just a relaxed style. Like you don't even realize the box that America puts you in, the pressure cooker, the insane like holidays do come here, guys. We're not negating that holidays come here, but it's still not that consistent push of buy, buy, buy.
Holidays aren't
yeah.
by. Yeah, they're not by. They're like, let's go out and eat together and like I haven't
Celebrate.
like
Yes.
let's like take the whole month off and like we just gonna like chill out and hang out with each other. So yeah, nah. Everything
You
is
ain't
by.
gotta
They
go broke.
commoditize
Like
everything.
Buying Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's more
And
about communing with folks.
Nah,
that's
it's
and I
real.
told my nephew that I was like, he was like, "Oh, send me some money." I'm like, "Boy, $100 lasts you 2 weeks here. I'm not sending because look, you can't even give a kid back home $100. They looking at you funny like $100.
What
This
That's
about
my
just a
Uber
dub.
Eats. You get somebody $100 here, like the gratitude, like shit. Get somebody $10. The gratitude, the appreciation, like it's a whole different. It's a mind fuck too. I'm not even gonna lie. When you first get here, you like, what the hell? Like this exists? Like I could have
yeah.
left long time ago. Like all the money I blew, like I went through a little depression my first year because I was like,
I wasted
the
on this.
fuck? Like we stayed
Yeah.
in America
Yeah.
way too long. Way too long.
How much money you could
I
have
got
had
out.
back in your pocket?
Listen, I got
I was 24 when I first went abroad.
Like, and I was just like I said, part of that motivation was like, well, I already been living away from my family. We got technology, we got phones now, we can video call, all of this stuff. So what do you mean? Like, I've been away all of this time on the opposite side of the country. So going abroad was just the next step for me. And I'm like at 24 and I'm 37 now. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
It's crazy.
And it's like it's so I hope that y'all see like how possible it is. I'm still alive. Ain't nobody, it's my house out here, ain't nobody got me holding me hostage or nothing. But yeah, it's like it's very possible. And I don't think it's even a such thing as like too old. I love I'm meeting more people now, like younger people who are in their 20s, and some of them starting out younger than I was. And I'm like, yes, I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so proud to see more of us doing it. So yeah, and also for us giving our voice to this type of thing, because it takes like a hand holding almost sometimes, right? Like into exploring new territories spiritually, internally and externally. So like, yeah, I think it's important for us to continue to have these conversations to let people know, like, listen, we ain't got jumped into no cartel, and it's more likely for me to be jumped into a gang back at home where I'm from
That's
than
the
it is
LA in you. I
In
don't think they
LA,
jumping
right?
people into the cartel.
right.
I don't think you get
I'm like,
jumped into
where
the
I'm from.
cartel, Miss Snowfall. I got jumped into the car. I don't think it happens like that. Maybe you're right.
Listen,
I don't know.
I mean, however it happened, I'm using the language that I know where I'm
Yeah.
Nah,
It
that's
do be
funny.
funny that the things they think happen. Even still now, I've been here almost 5 years, and my mom still say when she get off the phone, "Be careful. You be careful.
You be careful.
Right.
You."
You go to the
Like,
grocery
I'm
store and that be
straight.
your last shopping trip. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You straight up there. Are
Um.
y'all okay? 'Cause y'all shooting out there for real.
For real.
Now we talked about the research and the intention, and we kind of hopped around with this because we're talking about it being things being cheap or communities being there or being able to be a part of this. But I want people to make certain that they are fully aware that not all foreign currency exchanges are the exact same. So you may go to a place that the cost is not, oh, it's just so much cheaper. You might go to a place where it is cheaper, but there is no community. You have to start looking at your and this is what we're going to probably end up on tonight because we're almost going on an hour and a half. But your whys. One of the biggest things, and this is all before we go about like what we putting in the bag or anything. That's a whole nother night. We got to talk about that. But like what you're doing before you leave. Once you got it in your head that you're going to move abroad, you started to look at the destinations. One of the biggest things that all of the people, maybe they're intentional enough to write it down. I tell people to write down, but knowing your whys is such an important part of the move abroad process, as well as conversely, knowing what you're looking for. And if you're new here, you might have been like, wow, that's profound, whatever. But if you aren't, you probably heard me say that before because it needs to stick. Knowing why you're leaving. Don't just think that it's only 5 reasons because when you go write it down, is five going to turn into 25, might turn into 55. And then you say, okay,
Mhm.
I really can't leave because I really can't stay here because look, I got 55 things that are driving me out. And then when you're looking on to your, what am I looking for? That is going to help your destination search. It's going to help you narrow that down. Not everywhere has what you are looking for. Never,
Correct.
nowhere is going to have everything.
Everything.
So be
Right.
Correct.
realistic with yourself about that either. Because I tell people, like, you're not going to find Narnia. It doesn't exist. There are going to be challenges anywhere you go. But that
Hmm.
visualization of what I'm leaving and what I'm looking for, that's what I did. And then it
Yeah.
made it even more like, okay, now when I thought about it, now I need to actually start taking some actions because I really had to sit with myself, prioritize the things that were really important in my life versus what I've been doing for the last 30, that was 35 years, and start making a turn on, okay, what am I going to do? Let me ask y'all, what were some of your you were looking for? Did y'all have some direct, I'm looking for this and where I'm going?
I just wanted a better food quality. Like I think that was my number one why.
Easy.
That was just it. It was just like we're dying here. We're paying to die. And I think people, if more people really heard that out loud of their mouth, they will be looking too. Because I'm gonna be honest, y'all, when I go home, and I ain't saying everybody, but a lot of y'all big as hell. And somebody need to be saying like, hey, let's put this food away, let's make another decision. Because when I left, it was like the daddy was big, but now
Let's make it
everybody
happen.
big. The
The
baby
baby,
big, the grandma big, the daddy big, the sister big, the uncle, everybody big. And so like, no, for real, we got to be honest, because
Yeah,
like this
it's
is
not
our
even
people.
body shaming. Like this is
It's
you don't
not.
fit. You can't fight
And
back against, when you're sick and
Nobody
and they're not
walking.
fit.
yeah, you're not fit, and
We
we got.
gotta realize that's very important. It's not even about clowning or body shaming.
it
But
really
like this is a
ain't.
real
Thing. We can't, like, that's legacy too. We teach these
habits and stuff to our children.
children, and really
Is lack of nutrition. It's
lack of access to healthy food. Like, ain't it crazy
how like
Access.
ain't it crazy to
to how like expensive a salad would be versus a burger?
like at a restaurant?
Like, it don't make sense. It's like it's on
$20.
purpose, y'all. It's on purpose. So we can't.
And
We gotta definitely get out of that. We can't. Don't be falling into these traps. You don't need no burger with a donut bun, okay? With a honey bun. You don't need all that. Like,
With
Leave it.
bacon
they are trying to
and an
keep you sick.
egg.
Okay, look at how. No, but honestly, look at the real stuff behind that. Look at how big pharma.
Profits off of us being sick. This is industry.
This is about us being weak and sick
To you know what I mean?
and poor and stuff like that. Like, to not be able to fight back. We can't.
You
You have to be. First of all, that stuff clogs your mind too.
listen. It's
So many things
it's
that
so frustrating.
it's so
That shit is
frustrating.
frustrating.
It's so obvious though. It's like once you're outside of it, it's so like they trying to kill us. I don't have to worry, but like
Yeah.
everywhere I go to the market, I go to the corner store, they got fresh vegetables, organic this, organic.
Everywhere.
They don't have to be labeled organic because you can go on the street and I got mango trees and soursop. I got all kind of trees on my street. The
the
fruit man come down the street every day. Like, this is it's so much more accessible when you get outside
Yeah.
of that, and we don't realize why we're there. We live in food deserts out there. Like, look at how they got us in these situations.
we don't
And
have.
Philly is big food desert.
This is in the 2000s,
Living in Atlanta, the neighbor, I was in the West End.
right? And
I
I
remember it was a like, well, we had Kroger and stuff like that, like a little further down, but like right by my house, we had a grocery store, like one of the last, kind of local black people, that I guess had this grocery store that was still standing.
and
Hmm.
when I just think about it, remind me of like Piggly Wiggly.
When I went down like further south, in deep Georgia, further south Georgia and Alabama and stuff, and Piggly Wiggly is a real thing. I always thought that was a joke,
Piggly
but Piggly
Wiggly, they
Wiggly
had
is a
one at
real
East
store.
Point. If you was a real,
And
you
it's
was on
like
the other
For
side.
real.
But some of them, it's just like it's carcass. You just go in there and smell carcass. Like, you just smell meat, processed food, and it's like, where's the
Yeah.
freshness? It's so much different. Like, why are those things, the fresh things that are gonna keep us alive?
and thriving. Why are they
Those so
less accessible for us? Why
Why are they so out of, like, I hate going back home, and I go back to LA
when I go home to visit
with
my
my family. Look, it's so expensive.
like why am I paying?
For nothing.
You know how much I can eat with this
Budget,
like and it's crazy
like my daily budget there to eat fresh, because I'm not changing. I'm not. You're not gonna trick me into eating that mess.
because I'm there. Like
I know better. You know what I mean? I gotta treat my body better.
so
So I'm
I'm
gonna maintain my same, like, standard. I eat mostly plant based.
but like I'm not
You're not tricking me to eating all of that stuff. But dang, I gotta go broke
like
to eat well.
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It
I
doesn't make
can't
Smoothie
sense. I
gonna be
think if we
$13.
I think if they push more for, like, if they really stood up, I think people are just living. They're not pushing against this machine that's
yeah.
happening, and they're just living and they're coming up with excuses. There was a viral video that went out and the lady was like, y'all don't get fat. It's been the hardest thing for me to get rid of this weight. I got all this extra
Yeah.
skin. And it was one so honest of a video. And it's like, you guys got to make a choice. Like, you're doing this and then you're doing it in front of your kids and it's like a big joke that these babies are this big. We're losing generations of people. Like this is a real thing. And then they're making a mockery out of you guys. Like I that's one thing I get so mad about. Health, wellness, spirituality. Don't play with me.
Yeah.
Do not play with me when I because I get passionate about it. And I'm like, you guys can't even make a choice about what's going in your mouth. Then like what happens if we really do gotta go to war or anything? We can't even
For
protect
real.
ourselves.
That's what I'm
We're so sick. We can't even protect ourselves. Okay, so then look what happens to the detox part of it. Like, okay, so if they do start going healthy, like y'all gonna be sick for a minute just coming off all the chemicals. It's just so much. And then like I posted the other day, I don't trust people who eat McDonald's. I've been saying that since I was in Atlanta. Like, if you are still eating fast food, if you are feeding your kids fast food, you're disgusting. That is laziness. That is disgusting. That you are the worst of the worst. I'm sorry, I'm not sugarcoating that shit because it don't make sense. It does out of
right.
You ain't
convenience, really. Like
Arcadian, man.
we got the internet now. We know this food is not healthy for us. It's not healthy,
At
and
least
I
make
think
burgers at
we
home.
have to
Like,
start
what
talking
happened if we
like
got
that,
McDonald's at
so for them
home?
to get it.
What happened if we
We
got
got
Mc
McDonald's at home. You better make a home burger. You, at least you know what's going into it. You know, because that is the thing, and that is
People
the
was people have to go to work more, so nobody can go and say I got McDonald's at home because I ain't got the time to cook
I
it.
don't
the
care.
time to make, you know, some that
conversation came up.
Nope.
Somebody
Nope.
talked about that, like the lack, the how they don't experience
a lot of home cooked
meals. Now, culturally, you know, this depends. There are some families where this is a strong thing. People, some families still
still
have
have dinner together. Some families are still making a whole spread and stuff like that, right? This is not at all painting everybody with one stroke, with one brush stroke, but a lot of cities that we come from, especially in bigger cities,
we already know that this is the culture. They want to keep us busy, keep us working, right? Not even at great pay, but even some people are like, they're not even noticing it because maybe their salaries have increased or they getting, you know, they're seeing checks,
they seeing numbers on checks.
or whatever. But
What are at what cost? You know what I mean? Like you got to
you have to
Everything.
invest into
RJ, I'm not using. They can't use that as an excuse no more. Cause guess what they doing? Netflix and chilling at night. They on Instagram and
they gonna
TikTok
keep
during the day.
you.
So you
they keep
prep your
you
food.
distracted. They keep you on
You
their
guys got to
social
realize you
media.
only get one body. You get one body. You get, and that's, and then you have a child, and you mean to tell me you can't sacrifice for that being that you have to raise up? I don't. I'm not taking no more excuses from nobody. Everybody has to choose health. Period. There's no other. There's no more time. We have no more time for you to decide. Okay, you guys are a laughing stock
Your health
when you
journey starts
travel.
today.
Seriously, stop. No, for real. When you travel, you see it. It's not like that nowhere else but in America. Like that is crazy. That is crazy. So no, I'm not taking no excuses for nobody. Don't nobody come around me. If you thinking about moving to Santa Marta and you're not focused on health and wellness and being a better person, you're gonna have a hard time and you won't see me. You're gonna see me and passing by. Hey girl, how you doing? And I'm out of there. This is your public service announcement,
Mind
okay?
you, this is the lady of the wing spot, so that means she really care about you being
Sure
healthy.
is.
Like, come get some wings, but walk
Sure,
your behind over here. Don't drive. Don't
period.
walk home and walk back. Walk the wings off. Oh,
No, for
like
real.
listen,
Sure
y'all.
is.
No, that is something I think that is in our community. That is, I mean, I'm not somebody that puts on weight, so it's not my hat by any means. But just being generally healthy. Most people think, oh, if you're big, that means that you're unhealthy, like automatically, or you're skinny, that means that you are healthy. Like,
Yeah,
nah, that
yeah,
don't
yeah.
work like that. I still have to go and make sure that I'm working out, doing stuff because y'all have to realize that what I was saying earlier, Tisha, like a lot of people don't have the time. And as us as entrepreneurs, our time is a little bit more flexible than somebody rigid in a box, got to drive 2, 3 hours to work. But moving abroad, it definitely freed it up. Even for the people that aren't entrepreneurs that work remotely, they're literally in a position where they're actively having access to the food. You look actively having access to the food, being able to do more physical activity because they have hours back in their day. I know for a fact there are people that are getting up at the crack of dawn, especially going into daylight savings time, and that won't be getting off until well after the sun went down,
But hold
having
on.
to drive back home
But hold on.
in a food desert, and
But
it's really
also,
hard to make good decisions. But America's
but
set up
also,
that
like,
way.
are you talking? I don't hear you, Tisha. I don't know if I can hear her. If you can hear.
I can't
Okay.
hear.
That was me
I
working
can.
11 hours a day, 4 day shift off three. That was me. I cooked every single night because I was the medicine for my husband and our son. You have to sacrifice. I still grow food on my patio. And I got all this food around here. You have to make the sacrifice. We cannot look for a way out no more. We're in a
Yeah.
dangerous level. We are in a
It's gonna
dangerous
take a.
level.
A more serious
I agree with
approach,
that.
which I love. Actually, listen, we need the tough love.
It's enough soft.
That's been going around along this topic where it's like we pacifying. It's not about like we ain't call it ain't about no body shaming. It ain't, like again, you can be skinny and don't have the
No,
nutrition, and the fitness and stuff that you need, right?
So like, it's really.
We have to be serious about this. I love seeing how they're like community gardens that pop up. Like this has been a thing, especially amongst us in different cities. I've worked in different community gardens.
Like back in Atlanta,
For example, there are people who see the importance
to this, and also carrying our
traditions. I was talking to somebody recently about like
you know, having fruit trees
and stuff like that in my backyard growing up in my childhood home. And
you go
my auntie house, and she got a patch of
collard greens and bell
peppers, and you know what I mean. So this is a tradition that a lot of us
came from, and we've lost it.
again with the convenience.
We live in such a microwave
Society, and they are keeping
mhm,
us working.
Yeah.
We are working more.
hours, but when
Think about it in your leisure time.
you have a choice, are we Netflixing?
Like, how about you're cooking while you're Netflixing? And you're gonna be tired. This is a war waged against us.
We didn't start it.
But guess what? We still in it.
We're
Still in it.
okay. It don't matter.
Matter if we didn't start it. It don't
that's
matter if it's
true.
not our fault. If we didn't
We are still.
still in it. And so what are you gonna do? Lay down, roll over, and die? Like, no, you have to fight back. Because again, this is our legacy too. Think about our children. The habits that we start
That you start
in childhood is harder to break away from.
later on in life.
Like we know this when you get to working out
You don't see results right.
right away.
You know what I mean? But like more
Seriously, don't start a child out on a bad foot. Like so many children, look at the rates and
stuff of diabetes and
all of this stuff in children.
give them a chance.
Give at least your children a fighting chance.
A
Start
chance.
walking. You
Period.
got
Nah.
chance. You
If you can sit at brunch
like brunch partying.
and stuff like that is more popular. If you can sit somewhere and brunch and eat and drink, then you can spend some time walking somewhere or doing a fun activity that's active.
We have to make better decisions.
So I agree with you, Tisha.
It's about discipline.
Hallelujah.
Listen, it's about making the decisions. It ain't no excuses.
No excuses. Okay,
It's
we're
no
not
Do,
past.
excuses.
do y'all want to know the
None.
elephant in the room? Y'all want to know the elephant in the room, y'all? And I
What?
don't mean by like funny elephant, but like seriously, you actually might not be able to move abroad if you're not in good physical condition. I say that is because many
Correct.
times places for people that are have mobile issues, walking for a long time, going up hills, down hills, elevation, heat, all of those things. I feel like in a lot of the places that you can say, oh, people are looking to move abroad are like big on outside activity and not having a car and the walkability and accessibility of things. But if you can't get up and down stairs or you can't walk up and down the street, it's going to be really hard for you to actively survive when
That
moving
part.
abroad. So part of what you may need to do when considering moving abroad is start to make better health. And I agree with you there because I have to tell people when I consult with them, whether they're looking to relocate or even just saying, hey, we're coming for the weekend. I'm like, okay, who's in your party? What kind of mobility issues do you have? Because we're in Colombia and some places
Mhm.
don't have an elevator. It's a beautiful rooftop view, but it's a 4 stories that you may need to walk up. Are you in physical health to walk up in four stories? Those things can definitely impact you when looking to move abroad that I don't think a lot of people realize that they're thinking, oh, well, there's
Period.
accessible places everywhere for me, and I'm like, no, I walked down the I was at at a resort on Saturday, y'all, and I walked down this corridor. Now y'all know I'm tall and skinny, and I was walking down this corridor, and I said, if I'm a little bit bigger and I had something on this side and this side, I might have to walk down sideways. This corridor was like, all right, little cut through spot from the little where the swim up suites were to the main area, and I'm like, if you were big as hell, you would have had to walk your ass all the way around the whole thing. And it's like, not realizing that for people looking to move abroad, I would say majority of the top expat destinations are in a position where you're going to be best valued walking and moving around and going to places. So Tisha, you may be hitting it on the nail because I'm like, it's gonna be hard for you if you are bedridden or immobile to have the life that we're even talking about living abroad. I just don't see it. I just don't.
Or the first thing you say as soon as you get here is, well, where's the fast food? Well, where's the American food? Like, ugh,
Mm. Well, look,
This is another interesting thing.
go to
You come to
Medellin.
Colombia
Go to
looking for
Medellin.
Arby's, you need to
listen,
be
no,
deported.
A lot of like there are
No, don't,
healthy
no, no, no,
habits
no, no,
too,
no, no. Don't go to
that
Medellin.
exists.
other places. Like it's a lot of fried stuff, which is what I don't like. Like as far as street food and stuff, I don't eat a lot of. Well, I don't eat any street food really. But like it's like everything is fried, and so it's stuff like that too. Bunch of meat, bunch of
Yes.
fried stuff, bunch of corn. So it's like, look,
Everybody,
Corn, a wrap with
I'm
cheese, a
telling
bunch of
it's like
cheese and
everything that's gonna clog your
on the cheese.
arteries and stuff like that. But like
this. So
this
this,
is a global thing too. But we know 100%. Just look at the intention.
Not to
Look
do
at
that.
industry. Look at how our
how food I
items and things are approved in the
Right.
U.S. where it's banned in other places.
look
Look
at
at
how
how much sugar
is in a bottle of
ketchup. Have y'all ever seen, like, I love seeing those comparisons when people do that research and they'll show you like this is a container of ketchup
and they'll show like
it's
it's
like 3/4 of the way
All the
filled with
sugar.
sugar.
you don't even realize
How you're eating it, right? Like we're
Sweet baby Ray's barbecue sauce. They need to be out of business. The amount of sugar. Everybody that's black done been to a barbecue with the sweet baby Ray's barbecue sauce. It got like 40, 50 grams of sugar. And when you see the amount of sugar that is in the bottle, it's like there's no way that they put this much sugar in there. And sure enough, it's in there. So yeah,
yeah.
y'all
But they
definitely start
plot,
making some
there's
better decisions
it's
from
a
a
war that's been waged, and it's like we just have to realize, like, just wake up to that.
it don't have to like
If you think of it from the right way of as in preserving yourself,
in your family. You don't have to look at it
like,
like
oh, it's so depressing. They just, you don't have to give up on it. You know what I mean? Like, it is depressing.
that's the reality. If
This
this
is the situation.
you're constantly under attack,
However,
are you just gonna roll over and
die,
or are you gonna do something about it? That's my perspective. That's how I like to look at it. It's like we have options.
you can do what
You can with what you
have. You don't have to have the best situation to make
something, of it. But yeah, again,
this is us also.
being inspiration to say like,
Hey, you got other options to live somewhere else too.
so before it's too late,
Don't get sick and
I'm not
die.
going for it. I'm telling the universe live on this channel. If that person hasn't worked out that ability to choose themselves instead of something convenient, please don't send them my way. Don't do it. I can't do it. I don't have the patience. I love
She
y'all
trying to
though.
tell y'all need to do the work on yourself. No,
yeah.
but seriously, because there are so many people think it's just I'm moving abroad. Let me put myself in the bag, and it's just like we gonna get into that probably next week when we talk to y'all later. But the biggest thing y'all have to realize the work on yourself that is the putting the stuff in the bag and paying a lawyer. Like once you got the direct pipeline, that stuff is easy. It's just like okay, I got the person. Here you go. Let's get it done. But the actual work, the things that will keep you abroad, that will say the difference between somebody that goes home and somebody that is thriving, living abroad, that is having success, that is building community. It starts with the work that you do right now on you. Yes, you've been overworked. Yes, you've been
Hmm.
overwhelmed. Everything is cool.
Period.
Everybody's in the same position. What do you do about it? You make a plan. You write down your whys. You write down what you're looking for. You get your destinations together and start doing some real research. If you're watching this, good for you. You're already starting in some things that you need to do. But there's a lot more that you need to do as far as from yourself. Questions that none of us can ask because you We're going to ask the questions, but we already answered them. We're on the other side of TSA. It's up to you guys to answer these questions and ask them for yourself and do something with it. Not just keep coming back here. So if you guys don't know, and sometimes my
That's a
cast members
shirt.
don't know either, we will be here every Tuesday, unless we give you a heads up that we move the time. But Tuesday is 5:30 Colombian time. I say Colombian time because right now we are in Central Time. Going into November, we'll be in Eastern Time. So Tuesdays at 5:30 Colombia time, you can find us here. These conversations, these questions, I appreciate everybody that is tuned in, that has been jumping into the comments, responding, asking questions that they may want answered. This is about
Yes.
more so you guys helping us be able to say, okay, we went a little ahead of you guys, but we're willing to reach back and not only give you something that you need that maybe we didn't have, but hopefully spark some more conversation in America so that more people are looking to actually leave and become part of the communities that we have built. So, one, Tisha, Miss Michelee, thank you guys always for always helping this conversation get legs, having the tough questions with the audience because we've all Tisha, you and Akeem are like the resident Suge Knights. Y'all really keep the conversations real tough. Hakeem looks at the video every once in a often. He's like, let me tell you guys something tonight. So once again, thank you all for the energy that y'all bring. Shout out to brother Akeem wherever he may happen to be. Y'all got anything before we get out of here? Excuse me. No, no,
Keep the questions
no. I can't hear you.
coming. I mean, we had so
I can't
many
hear you.
great questions tonight that we
I
didn't even.
cannot hear her.
Okay.
I can hear
Love
you
y'all.
now.
Okay.
Come back on
Well, just thank y'all, everybody. Your questions.
Tuesday. What I'm going to say is,
Oh, we just lost her.
if
Okay.
you are not already following, please go to YouTube, Roots and Routes Podcast. There is all of the videos. You can also subscribe if you are in the podcast that's listening. You can go on Spotify as well as Apple Podcast. Also, November 22nd, Mood with two O's, travelabroad.com. We will be having our virtual relocation conference. So you're going to be hearing from myself. You're going to be hearing from Tisha. You're going to be hearing
Yeah.
from Michelee. But you're also going to be hearing from other destination experts. So we've got Colombia, we have Mexico, we have Panama, and we have South African experts coming on to help get you guys get some information, get some understanding about what this move abroad process looks like, and putting you directly into the expert's hands. So, as always, I appreciate you guys,
I
Miss Chalet.
let
It's
me
good to see you.
real
Oh,
quick plug in.
oh,
I
go for
have
it.
an initiative that something that we talked about earlier today about teaching people how to fish rather than just giving a fish. And so I with a friend have created a program called Nailed It. And we're doing our third session this year where we get young girls from underprivileged areas out here in
Okay.
Colombia in different cities. Now we're going to Santa Marta where Tisha actually lives. And we'll be teaching girls like about their hair, textured hair, how to care for it. We have celebrity hairstylist Felicia Leatherwood, and we're so excited. But we are fundraising for this, so I want to
Okay.
call attention to that. So you can follow me, follow us at actually my personal page at mishmash_world or and at our Nailed It page. It's called Nailed It NAILDIT.MDE. So Nailed It Medellin, and that's where you can find our direct program. But yeah, this is I want to call out to my community because I don't want to, it's
When
community
is that?
powered. So I do want to call attention to that to support this initiative. This is on October 25th.
No, no.
We just did it in Lima.
October
Yeah, we did
25th.
it in Lima
Okay.
last month. We did it in Medellin, our very first one, earlier this year in March. And so now already in October, we have another program like supporting another group of young girls about supporting them and encouraging them in creativity and entrepreneurship. So we are actually doing the work. Like we are putting our money. This is a chance for the community power. We're asking for donations. We have a GoFundMe campaign to make this more of, this is a global effort. We talk about these things, we see these issues. And again, people, we may come from areas where, we're not, we don't have it all, you know what I mean? But it can still be more than what somebody else has. You know what I mean? So just dropping a quarter in the bucket. Like that's all we ask is to help support this mission. Because we out here doing the good work. You know what I mean? Like I'm a person, I'm not just talking about it. I live it
Nah,
too. So I would love for you guys to at least check us out and support us if you can. And that's
no, 100%. If you can do me a favor, Miss Chalet, if you can
mm-hmm.
tag the page on Instagram, like with whatever post it is, so I can like just collaborate with it. So that way, you can go on our page and you can get the information there if you didn't happen to jot it. But I will make certain that that information is at least on our page so that you can donate. That's anywhere in the world, so you can still be at home in America. You can just go ahead. She has done Medellin. She has done Lima, Peru, as well as now this next one would be Santa Marta. And I see all of the pictures. The young ladies, they look excited to be there. They're learning actual skills. And I love the fact that it took the community. So you and Jasmine coming together and y'all met like fire and just got together like quickly and made something happen. And I like appreciate that's why I miss y'all so much there in Medellin, to be honest with y'all, because I'm like we're gonna get back. We're gonna see each other soon for sure, Miss Michelee. Make sure you tag me on there so that way you guys can go to Roots and Routes Pod podcast on Instagram and it'll be there. And we'll probably put some more information out there. So as we continue to get closer to
For
October
sure.
25th, so that way you guys can be a part of a global initiative to help others help others. So you always let me know if you got anything that we need to put on. Show world, baby. I will see you guys the next time. Make sure y'all putting it in your calendars. Tuesdays at 5:30 Columbia time. Tisha, we are getting off. Bye bye,
We'll
y'all.
see
I'll see
y'all.
y'all later.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
peace.